Hey guys, it's Marla. Welcome back to Twinstrology. This is the Twin Flame Energy Report for the most important week of the year. The only week that can even come close to this week was the new moon solar eclipse that was in August. But that solar eclipse was preparing us for the energy that's going to be happening over the next 2 weeks and into 2018. So on the 18th, we have a new moon in Sagittarius. On the 19th, we have Saturn going into the sign of Capricorn after being in Sagittarius since December of 2014. On the 21st, we have the Winter Solstice or Yule, which marks the sun moving into the sign of Capricorn. And on the 22nd, we have Mercury stationing direct. So huge energies happening right now. And there's just been so much information coming through me. I haven't really gotten a good handle on it to take notes. I'm just going to wing it, and things are crazy, of course, because it's Christmas and there's so many things going on. So, hopefully you'll bear with me if this report seems a little bit all over the place. Now, if you would like a personal reading with me, please visit my website, which is twinstrology.com. All right, so everything really is falling under the 2112 portal. And 2112 is the way that Spirit showed the number to me. Whether you call it 1221, that's fine. I'm just saying it the way I was shown it because I feel there's something important about the number being stated that way. But to be honest, I'm not sure yet. And this energy really was kicked off for the full moon in Taurus that was on 11/4, November 4th. And it has to do with that energy around Halloween. This represented the old masculine energy dying. And now at Yule or the Winter Solstice or 2112 or 1221, this is when the masculine energy is being reborn into the divine masculine. In conjunction with the masculine being reborn, the feminine energy is also doing really important work. Also going back to that Taurus full moon. I went back and I watched the video before I came on now. I watched the video for the Taurus full moon. And I read the channeled message that I did for that full moon. In that message, which was from Hecate, she talked about the feminine needing to face their last fears, their fears of abandonment, and the masculine needing to face their fear, which was the fear of the truth. And getting to the truth and the realizations that they had to go through. And that's exactly what has happened, both in conjunction. So at that full moon, which was also Halloween or Samhain, at least for me, because I celebrate the festivals with the moon cycles, that represented the masculine dying, and like I said, the feminine starting to confront those fears which are like the bottom of the barrel. What are we still facing? What is still holding us back? And I'm sure many of you, Divine Feminine, have had realizations. I mean, for me, it's been especially coupled with this Mercury retrograde. As soon as an old thought comes up, I see it. And I'm just like, oh, you're still holding on to that, huh? No, we're going to let that go because we know that that's not true. And it has to happen that way. All right, I'm going to read my notes here because maybe they'll make more sense. I started to channel a message, but then I decided to hold off on delivering the message till today. The winter solstice is a day we celebrate the victory of the light over the dark. The winter solstice on 21/12 will be especially victorious, as the necessary amount of the divine feminine have been able to shift their beliefs away from the old paradigm of control. Now, this is not all divine feminine. This message was crafted to the 144,000. Enough of the divine feminine energies within the 144,000 have shifted away from patriarchal control. They've broken free of the mental bondage that humans have been kept in for a long time. They've seen through the fear, the political and religious dogma that continually tries to divide and separate. And this will act as a tipping point in the shift, and it will act as a tipping point for the rest of the divine feminine to follow. Between 12/12 and 12/21, there will be a further push to release ego in this area. The planetary energies are in a tight alignment to activate this push. The sun will be welcomed into Capricorn by Saturn, who is waiting at the 0-degree mark. Remember, Saturn's going into Capricorn on the 19th. The sun enters on the 21st. This is a powerful combination of masculine and authoritative energy that is marking this shift. It is the changing of the guard, as this is the day that the divine masculine is reborn, as was shared in the previous channeled message. Saturn was square Chiron in Pisces, and this was the grounding of the spiritual base. How our thoughts create reality, and through our beliefs and shifts in the collective consciousness. Let me say that again because that didn't sound right. What I was talking about was when the masculine went down into the underworld, Saturn was square Chiron. The Saturn-Chiron square that's been happening on and off and will continue to happen in 2018 is very important energy for grounding the third energy and marking the shift from the spiritual marriage to the physical 3D marriage of twin flames. So it was that energy that was grounding the spiritual energy that acted as a base. And it was showing us that our thoughts do indeed create our reality. And that is why it was so important for us to shed all these old beliefs, and why it was important for enough of the divine feminine to move away from those old belief systems. And this is shifting the collective consciousness. Now Saturn is going into Capricorn, Saturn's home sign. Capricorn is our life purpose, our mission in the world, who we are out in the world, our status, and it's earth, it's grounded energy. So with Saturn going into Capricorn, we are going to start seeing twin flame unions taking form in 3D reality. Now remember, twin flame unions will come together over a period of years. Not everyone is going to come into union on the 21st. So it happens in waves, and everyone needs to be patient and just know that you'll get your turn. With the divine masculine energy growing stronger, your creative abilities are growing stronger. So remember, we all have divine masculine and feminine within us. And when those come into balance, we become powerful creators. We have the ability to manifest much quicker, much stronger. We're more potent. So with the divine masculine being reborn, this is not just affecting those twins in a male body or those twins that carry the masculine energy. This is affecting every single one of us because we all carry the masculine energy. And this is making our masculine energy stronger. And this in turn is shifting up our manifestation abilities. That is why it was so important for enough of the divine feminine to remove the old programming because of the increasing manifestation abilities. Now, if you're creating and you're still stuck in the old patriarchal paradigms of control, that's what you're creating more of. We have to move beyond that. And I mentioned, for example, political systems. It's not about who's better, Democrat or Republican. It's about a whole new system. It's not about which religion is better, Christianity or Islam or Buddhism. It's about moving past those paradigms. They won't even be relevant. We're going back to the ancient ways. And when I say ancient, I mean think Atlantis, Lemuria. These are the energies, the ancient wisdom, but we have to break free of what we've been taught, right? So when our manifestation abilities are kicking in, enough of us had to be over the line of being able to not just create more of the same. Enough have to be completely broken free of that whole system. So there will still be tensions arising as the shift occurs. Do not give up if you don't see the shifts immediately. You will see things being brought up and continued disagreement, but the shifts are occurring. Okay, again, my notes aren't that clear. What I'm talking about is with Saturn going into Capricorn, this is creating big change, not just in each of us, not just in our unions. It's changing the world. There'll be changes that affect everyone, that affect society. It may not happen immediately. It's an energy that has to build and things will unfold, but you're already seeing it. You're already seeing some of the shifts, like with the sex scandals and all of that. That's only the very beginning. For too long, the old programming has tried to dismantle your ability to create your own reality by making you believe you were powerless. Those that have broken through understand the importance of sovereignty. You must retain control over your mind in order to create your reality. By infiltrating your beliefs about yourself and the world, the old paradigm took control of your reality. They told you that you were free when in truth you were not. Your minds were enslaved. Now that we have reached this point, continue with your work of assisting others in reaching their own level of sovereignty. So there I'm talking to those divine feminine that have completely broken free. Hopefully you understood that. What I was trying to say is the powers that be have let you think that you are free all the time that they've been controlling you because they've controlled your mind and they've controlled your thoughts. And it's not until you break free of that that you can really see how much you were enslaved. And the point, they did that because they didn't want you to know that you were a master creator. They didn't want you to know that you're in charge of your own reality. They wanted you to follow their rules. But now it's time for us to break free. with Saturn going into Capricorn. And we have to look at Saturn in a new way, but I don't want to get into all that yet. But Saturn is actually assisting in getting rid of the old. So the next several months, we'll see the divine masculine and the divine feminine becoming more balanced. You see everything is connected. The rising of the energies, meaning the masculine and feminine, the balancing of the energy, the creative force, our ability to manifest, the ability to consciously control what you manifest, twin flame unions, and the ascension process. They're all interwoven. You can't have one without the other. It's all working, all in divine timing. And so it's not really productive for you to continue to say, well, my masculine is not doing this, or the feminine is doing this, and continually to blame each other, because it's all been just pieces of the puzzle fitting in together, and it's like a chain reaction. One can't happen without the other happening. Actually, I wanted to talk about divine timing, so maybe I'll talk about that here. So that's pretty much the shift, though, that I wanted to say about the masculine being reborn and how the feminine has had to lose her belief systems that we've been doing this for years, right? But this has been like a big push to really break free, and that's what 2017 has been about. So many of the divine feminine have gone through so much. It's been an initiation process this whole year, but it was all because there were these last belief systems that had not been seen through, that were affecting them on a subconscious level. And I feel like this is a major completion of that. Okay, so yeah, I wanted to talk about divine timing a little bit because, like I mentioned, everything's connected, and we talk about divine timing a lot and how it's, well, we just have to wait for divine timing with twin flame unions, and that's true. But everything in your life is divine timing, and part of this shift for the divine feminine is recognizing that everything is happening in divine timing and letting the rest go. It means being in complete surrender in all areas of your life, because now that we're getting this strong push in our creative abilities, and we have the timeline shifting, we have this new energy coming in next year, which is only a couple weeks away, if you can believe that. It's going to be an 11-year. Uranus is going direct on January 2nd, and then from January 2nd until March, where did I write that down? Until March 8th, all the planets are going to be direct. That's going to be 2 months of all the planets being direct to give you wind beneath your wings to start creating everything that you've been trying to, or to see this start coming into fruition. So I'm getting the message so loud and clear to tell you guys that in order to assist you with this manifestation, just be surrendered to divine timing and trust that process. If things don't appear to be going your way, say you want a new job and you apply for 5 jobs and you don't get any of them, and you think, you get angry and you think, God, I've been trying to leave this job forever and the universe is not supporting me. But that's not true. The universe is, but it's just not the right time. So instead of getting angry, we go into surrender and acceptance, and we say, okay, well, those jobs weren't for me, but I know something better is coming. Just like with your union energies, like I said, we all talk about divine timing. But when you look back in hindsight, when you're in it, you think you're ready for everything. But then when you look back, you realize you weren't. And you realize that divine timing has been unfolding everything exactly as it should have from the beginning. And everything is connected, like I mentioned. So unions are connected to ascension. I hope I'm saying this clearly. In my own work, I've found how important divine timing is. My astrology work, for example, it's constantly changing. My knowledge is constantly evolving. The way I do readings is constantly evolving. So when people come to me for a reading, it happens in divine timing. And sometimes people get angry because I have a long wait for my readings. But if they surrender, they'll recognize that if they just wait for divine timing, they're going to get the best reading for them. Because it depends on my energy and their energy. I have to be ready to receive the message to give them. They have to be ready to hear the message that I give them. My style, what they need from me, I must have had evolved to the point where I can read that message. And so I used to stress about it and feel bad that people had to wait, or I was behind schedule, or beat myself up because I couldn't do enough. But now I realize that it's all divinely planned. So there's nothing to stress about. It happens when it happens. And when it happens, it's the right time. And it's the best possible reading for everybody. And just look at your whole life in that way. And that is going to help you surrender to the way everything is going to unfold for you. And you really don't need to push for things. We're in the space now where we have to be in the energy of receiving. And it's the holidays. Practice receiving. I've been very lucky. I've had some people send me some very nice gifts just out of the blue. And where I used to, in the old days, I would have felt bad. I would have felt really guilty. I wouldn't have known what to do. But I've been able to just accept it and receive it with gratitude and thankfulness. And sometimes when we receive something, even if we're not giving back to that person, we might give to someone else. And so everything all works out. Everything is always imbalanced. And that's the beauty of just surrendering everything in your life to the universe and going with the flow. And it's really important for the divine feminine to be in this energy right now, not just because of manifesting, but because of the shift that's going on with the divine masculine. And they're needing to go through some tough situations, some tough changes. And if the feminine is in that place of surrender to what is and at peace with everything in her life, that's going to help the masculine surrender and be at peace with the shifts and changes that they have to make in their own life. You're always working together. Don't forget that. And I also want to say really quick about nurturing yourself and how important nurturing yourself is right now. I can't emphasize this enough because of the huge shift in the energies right now. It's taking its toll on many of us, myself included, just feeling exhausted. And so give yourself a break. And the best way to help your twin is to help yourself. Every time that you choose you, and you choose to nurture you, and you choose to love you, you're helping them choose themselves. Again, just like I talked about, you're working together. So when you nurture yourself, you're choosing you. And when you take care of yourself, you're helping both of you stay in energetic balance. And it keeps you out of that negative frame of mind, which is important also to help the masculine who, like I said, they're dealing with a lot of stress right now. So if you can find that place of peace, balance, surrender, and love and nurturance for yourself, that is what's really going to help them. There's not really anything that you can do for the masculine right now. They have to go through that themselves. You know, right now a lot of them are feeling a lot of abandonment and rejection. But it's not your place to say, look, you're not. I'm here for you. Because that's something that they have to go through in order to get beyond it, right? They have to come into their own wholeness on their own. So if the divine feminine focuses on themselves, that's the best way to support them, I feel. Okay, let's talk about the new moon in Sagittarius. The new moon is happening at 26 degrees, 31 minutes of Sagittarius on December 18th at 1:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be on the Sabian symbol. The sculptor's vision is slowly but surely taking form. And if that doesn't come as a good omen, I don't know what would. It's telling us that what we've been creating is slowly coming into material form. And it's conjunct Saturn, who's at 29 degrees of Sagittarius. Think about that grounding energy, because the moon, the sun and the moon are also going to be squaring Chiron in Pisces. So it's very much bringing in the energy that's supporting it in grounding. Sorry, that came out very confused. Neptune's been messing with me big time. And it's been very hard for me to focus. So, yeah, all you need to know is that this energy is being grounded, that there's some union energy being grounded, or the third energy that I've talked about. I talked about that at the summer solstice, and it's still coming. Mercury will be at 15 degrees. He's going back to 13, and he's going to be square the nodes. No, sorry. He's going to be trine the north node, and Jupiter and Vesta are square the nodes. So the Mercury is helping us get rid of those belief systems. It's sextiling the south node, trining the north node. So it's helping us dump some of the old patterns. And with Jupiter squaring the nodes, I feel like this is calling you to really have faith right now. You may feel that your faith is being tested. And I also feel this is spiritual energy from your past you're finding some of that again in order to use that in this lifetime. Vesta too. And Vesta is the asteroid for twin flames. She also has to do with mission. It's when things are square the nodes, to me, it's like you can use something from the past, from your past lives, your south node, and you can use it now in this life. The new moon is also trine Uranus, who's conjunct Pallas Athena. And Pallas and Uranus, this is a huge awakening energy. If you remember, they met up earlier in the year. They met up in June. And then Pallas went into Taurus, and then she went retrograde. She came back, and she stationed on Uranus. And this is waking up our third eyes. And so with the new moon trining that, it's bringing more of that awakening energy to everybody. So we have that on the 18th. And you may want to set your intentions for what you want to create in 2018. I feel this new moon will be a good time to do that, even though it's still 2017. The next new moon, of course, will be in Capricorn in mid-January. Then on the 19th, like I said, we'll have Saturn making his switch into Capricorn. And then on the 21st, we have the Winter Solstice or Yule. This is when the sun goes into Capricorn. Every time we have the sun making its transit into one of the cardinal signs, this marks the change of the season. So this is officially winter. Like I started with my channeled message, this is the shortest day of the year. But even though it's the shortest day, it represents the light winning. When we're at the fall equinox or maven, this is when the day and night are equal, right? And then the nights get longer and longer till we get to the winter solstice, and that is the longest night. But from that point forward, the light gets longer. So it's like hope is growing. The light is coming back. And that's also in paganism, or certain areas, I should say, of paganism, because I know of some people that don't see things this way. The god dies, and then with the rebirth of the light, or the light growing stronger again, this is when the god is reborn. And this is showing the sun. The god is represented as the sun in astrology. And so now his energy is reborn and grows stronger. So to have the sun coming into Capricorn with Saturn there is going to be a huge deal. Also on that day, and coming into those days before, we can even say, at the new moon, of course, because it's only a few days ahead of time. Venus is squaring Chiron. So the next couple weeks, even though there's like a lot of positive things happening, I feel there's still going to be a lot of sadness, maybe some purging. One of the reasons being that we're going to have Venus squaring Chiron, and this can bring up painful wounds and dealing especially with the wound of abandonment and rejection. And I wrote a post back in July when Venus was squaring Chiron from Gemini, and I'll probably share that post again because it really, I feel, sums up the energy of Venus and Chiron. But ultimately, even though we have this wound and we have to feel the pain of it, it's by feeling the pain and getting through, pushing ourselves through to the other side. This is what allows us to open our heart. And that's basically what that message was. It's like, yes, you have to go through this pain, but this is the process by which you can heal and open your heart again and learn to love again. But if you push that down into your shadow, that's it's going to sabotage you. You have to face the pain. And I feel like for the divine masculine, it's going to be kind of intense for them dealing with the feeling of rejection and abandonment. There's something I wanted to say. It's on the tip of my tongue. When we're waking up, it's hard. We have to face some hard things about ourselves. And we're having to face the truth. One of the things that the divine masculine might be feeling as he wakes up is maybe he didn't treat the feminine energy so well. And, that's another wound that they might have to deal with at this time. And Black Moon Lilith is also there. It's funny, at the time of Yule, or the time when the sun moves into Capricorn, she's at 4 degrees, 44 minutes of Capricorn. So on, what day is it? The day after Christmas, I believe, December 26th, that's when Venus goes into Capricorn. And then we're going to have Sun, Venus, Saturn, and Black Moon Lilith all conjunct in Capricorn. And that energy is going to be challenging as well. We're going to have the Sun and Venus conjunct Saturn, which can be lessons. Saturn can bring up our fears. And again, it's that abandonment wound that we have to face. Meanwhile, Lilith there is pressuring everyone to be their authentic self and to separate from the patriarchy or the powers of control. So even moving into the week after this week, Christmas week, there'll still be some challenges. And just because the masculine are being reborn doesn't mean that their challenges are over. Like I said, as they wake up more, they're going to have to face some truths. And it's going to be tough for them. So be compassionate. And like I said, we all have masculine energy within us, so it's affecting everybody. Okay, I want to talk a minute about Chiron because Chiron has been on the Sabian symbol, the purging of the priesthood, since October 28th. And that is, again, Halloween. It was around that Taurus full moon. So he's been on the 24th degree for a couple months. This is where he's stationed. He was retrograde and he's stationed on that degree. He went direct on December 5th. So he's been on this degree for a while. He's going to stay on it until January 13th. And this purging of the priesthood is representing the awakening of the divine masculine. They are the priesthood, and they're purging out their old belief systems too. Chiron is very important to this process. I talk about him a lot. I mentioned him last energy report about squaring Saturn. And in April is when he goes into Aries. He's crossing the 0 point, the first degree of the zodiac, the Aries point, and that is about manifestation. So when we get into April, that's going to be an important time for twin unions. Remember, twins are already coming into union. This energy is just growing. Like I mentioned, it's going to be taking place over years. But springtime, I feel, is going to be a really big time. Part of that has to do with Chiron going into Aries, and then he's going retrograde. He's going to go over the Aries point again and then go direct and cross it again. So he's going to cross that point 3 times next year, and he's going to be square to Saturn again. I think it's July that they'll meet again because Saturn will be in retrograde. They won't be exact again because they'll still be a degree apart, but they'll be close enough, and that will be helping manifesting unions. And I spoke in my video about the rebirth of the masculine has May Day being a very important day, which is a few weeks after Chiron goes in to Aries, because that is going to really ground and manifest the third energy and make way for reunions. Just trying to think if there's anything else that I wanted to talk about. I probably said enough. Probably too much for some of you. Okay, the goddess that's overseeing the Sagittarius New Moon is Kuan Yin, and her message is compassion. I'm going to read this one to you. Kuan Yin appears mercifully in your life to tell you it's time to nurture wholeness with compassion. Compassion for others, compassion for your loved ones, compassion for yourself. Do you find yourself feeling irritated or apathetic to the suffering of others? What keeps you from your compassion? Do you allow yourself space and ease when you are less than your idea of perfect? Do you find yourself wanting to hurt others because you have been hurt? Do you fear opening your heart to the plight of others because it will hurt you? Compassion is the ability to listen deeply and allow others and yourself the space to go through what needs to be gone through and to feel what needs to be felt. Kuan Yin says that the way to alleviate your suffering is developing compassion for yourself. From that compassionate place within, you can manifest compassion without. So, very important message there about being compassionate for yourself. Remember, I talked about that. This is part of nurturing yourself, treating yourself compassionately, which will translate towards finding compassion for your masculine energy. And it also talks about the ability to allow others the space to go through what they need to go through. Now, if you're divine feminine, remember the divine masculine let you go through what you needed to go through. Now you can compassionately allow them the space to go through what they need to go through. Okay. The overall energy of union. The God of Love. And this is card number 11, by the way. I cannot say this God's name. I have never heard of this God, and the book does not give me a pronunciation. So maybe some of you guys can tell me, but it doesn't matter, because all that matters is he's representing the God of love, and this is the overall energy of twin unions. We're coming deeper into love energy, not just feeling love for each other, but love of ourselves and love for everyone. This Yuletide season is going to see us activating more of our hearts, awakening our hearts more, embodying more Christ consciousness. This energy keeps ramping up, and this 2112 gateway will see more heart expansion. This card also talks about recognizing that people love in different ways. So the way you show love might be different than how your twin or your soulmate shows love. And you may not recognize when they show love to you. For example, from the perspective of our higher selves, when the divine masculine was rejecting the divine feminine, it was hard for us to see that as love, but they were allowing us the space to find our wholeness, to find our sovereignty, to find our power without depending on them. It was helping us shed codependent patterns. And so that was love, even though to our eyes it might not have immediately felt like love. So being mindful that love comes in many forms. Actually, 2 cards came up. So just a reminder, guys, when I draw cards for any reading, I shuffle until cards fall out, and sometimes 2 cards fall out, and if I feel like they resonate, then I'll keep the cards. So the other card that came out was fear. And as you can see, there's a man on here. I feel like this is really representing where the masculine energy is at. And they're going through a huge shift. And it's going to bring up fears for you, for the masculine. They don't see what's ahead. Like, they're very much, I feel, living in the moment. And I should address the divine masculine. I always do this, and then I look back and I'm like, why am I talking as if they're not there when I know that there are a lot of divine masculine watching? So you cannot see where you're headed. You're very much living in the moment. And so this is bringing up fears because you're not trusting. But there's a message here for you to trust. And that was part of what I was trying to say when I talked about divine timing. Trust in the unfoldment of your journey. And with Jupiter squaring the nodes, this is your chance to trust the process. Shed those fears. And it's fear of change. Everyone has fear of change. But it's going to be okay. It's going to be better than okay. Now, this is union energy, so the divine feminine is not getting off here. But there's still a lot of divine feminine that are still in fear of the future. And between this full moon and new moon in Sagittarius and going into the full moon in Cancer, which is on New Year's Day, there's going to be purging of fears. And I've already talked about the abandonment issues that I feel are going to be coming up. So just be watchful. Don't get yourself, worked up or even in fear about what you could be shedding or what could be happening. Just know that it's there and you've got to face your fears. You can't go any further without facing those fears. And even though it's scary in the moment, you'll be so grateful that you did it. The message from the romance angels for where the union energy is pay attention to the red flags. The signs are cautioning you. What I feel the message is for the masculine and feminine with this card is really just look deeper. Don't just settle for whatever the surface energy is. Pay attention to the red flags or pay attention to the signs. They're either going to be cautioning you or they're going to be green lighting you. I don't always read this card. In fact, I usually do not read this card as a negative. I usually see it as watch for the signs. Pay attention to the signs and know they're guiding you. But for here, it's like just be aware. Look below the surface of everything. Do not take things at face value. Go deeper. You're going to find yourself that way. You're going to see things from a different perspective than you have been, is what I'm getting. Okay, the energy of the divine feminine. Isis, goddess of magic. And for those of you that are wondering, this deck is divine feminine and masculine reunited. A dear friend of mine has gifted this to me for Christmas. Thank you so much. And this was created by Christabel Jessica, who is another twin flame. So, goddess of magic, Isis, is representing the divine feminine. I love this card for the divine feminine because divine feminine, you're in your power. And the energy of Isis is so strong right now because, like I talked about, we're going back to the ancient ways, the ways of Isis. And this is creating your own reality and being the master manifester, knowing that you're a magical being. Everything you need is already within you. Divine feminine, you're just powerful and rocking it right now. Divine masculine, your energy is Kali, goddess of destruction. So you're getting paid a visit from Kali right now, and Kali is the goddess that helps us see past ego. She breaks down our egos, and she breaks down everything that is not truth. So when Kali comes, there's a phase of destruction in your life. The old is passing away because the old was keeping you in ego, and it's time to move past your ego. Kali will awaken your third eye. Again, think of that Pallas Uranus conjunction, trining the full moon, the new moon. Why do I keep saying full moon? Sorry about that. I feel a lot of the divine masculine, you're going to get clarity over the next couple weeks. And you're going to feel that shift of Saturn going into Capricorn. So when Kali's in our life, we have to let go. What we're not seeing, what the divine feminine is not seeing, is physical ailment. I feel like the message here is that a lot of the divine feminine are dealing with physical symptoms because the energy shifts. There's upgrading going on, yes, but it's also about grounding the energy here through our bodies. And so you may be dealing with physical ailments. You may not know what they're from. They might be connected to the grounding of this energy. I know I've been dealing with issues with my throat, just like a dry cough out of nowhere, and I've talked to other people and they're having the same thing. So you may have throat chakra issues, and this is related to speaking more of our truth, and we're helping the masculine speak their truth. So we're all clearing, and remember, we have masculine inside of us, so we're all clearing our throat. And as the masculine inside of us awakens and becomes more empowered, this makes us so much stronger. That is how we get to this. Because you can be tuned in to all kinds of intuition. You can be the best psychic in the world. But if you don't have the masculine energy to back you up, to make you feel protected, then you're not able to fully take that message out to the world because you're too afraid. You need to have a strong inner masculine energy to empower you. And that's going to help you in the way that you create, because you won't limit yourself. You won't be afraid. Like, your mission might be to, be a famous singer or a famous writer. And you may kind of know that that's true, but you may shy away from it because you're afraid, because you have a weak masculine. You're not fully empowered. And so you're subconsciously blocking that from being created. But when you're masculine strong, you don't have any fears. You're ready to go out and do it. Which is part of, Saturn moving into Capricorn. Everyone is going to start getting pushed to step up into whatever their mission is, including the masculine energies. You have a purpose, and your purpose will soon be revealed to you, if it has not already. So the physical ailments, nurture yourself. Nurture yourself. Drink lots of water. Eat healthy. I know it's the holidays, so you're going to eat crap, but on the days that you're not doing anything, eat lots of fruits and vegetables and drink lots of water. Don't overdo it. What the divine masculine is not seeing. Ganesh, god of obstruction. Okay. Divine masculine. You're being faced with obstacles in your life right now. Very challenged by obstacles. And what you're not seeing is that those obstacles were put there by the divine, but also by you. When you planned what your life is going to be like, you plan those obstacles, because it's through those obstacles that your growth comes. So while you may be cursing those obstacles right now, it's that very challenge that is forcing you up to the next level. So be grateful for those obstacles. And, you can easily overcome those obstacles. The only thing that's stopping you is up here, because you don't believe yourself able to overcome them. You're still shedding the old beliefs that make you feel stuck, that make you feel limited, that make you feel like you're not powerful enough. Keep pushing. Don't give up. And when you get to the other side of that obstacle, you're going to see how much stronger you are. I was going to say, you're going to find your strength. You already have this strength within you. You just have to find it. You've been in the old patriarchal mindset. But once you shed that and realize the powerful magicians that you are and start creating your reality, those obstacles are just going to be gone. What the divine feminine is surrendering. Surrender stress. Take a few deep breaths and exhale the tension you've built up in your body. Let the stress go as you come back to center. I think that goes with physical ailments, Don't buy into anything that stresses you out right now. Just go back to nurturing yourself. Surrender to trust. Trust yourself and your decisions. Don't be swayed by other people's strong opinions about what to do. Take action and be confident that you have chosen the right path. Whatever is happening in your life, trust it. Remember, everything's unfolding exactly as it should. There's no mistakes. There's no accidents. Surrender the drama. No matter how emotionally charged the situation, remain calm and don't contribute to the drama. Staying centered will help the situation resolve more quickly. Especially at the holidays. It's easy to get pulled into drama. You don't have to do everything. You're not responsible for everything. You're not responsible for everybody. So don't get caught up in the drama of it all. For the divine masculine, surrender your fears. Let go of the fearful stories you're telling yourself. Stay in the moment. Focus on solutions and celebrate every baby step forward. Again, stay in the moment. The fearful stories are just things that you tell yourself. A belief is just a thought that you keep telling yourself. I love that, from Abraham Hicks. Surrender to the magic of who you are. We all have magic in us. Even in the mundane aspects of life, remember that you are a magical being with a uniqueness and worth that comes from just being you. Surrender to miracles. Be open to miracles occurring in your life. Feel and know that these events are real. Let go of any resistance and banish any doubt that miracles can happen. All right, for the divine masculine. This is what I was trying to say. You don't have anything to fear because things are working out so much better than you probably think in your mind right now. Trust in everything that's unfolding. Some of you are, you're dealing with a lot of things that happen when you spiritually awaken. You might be having dreams or visions or something like that, which might all be strange for you. Trust that those events are real. I'm also feeling like when you feel yourself connect to the divine feminine, know that that is real. And the miracles are on their way to you. They're there. You just have to surrender and allow the miracles into your life. You know, you don't think that things can work out, but they will. The Divine Feminine's message to the Divine Masculine. Calling in your soulmate. Your prayers, affirmations, and visualizations bring you together. Trust. The situation is calling for you to have trust and make the effort. Great love is worth taking the steps you're called to make. I feel like the Divine Feminine is saying to the Divine Masculine that they've been making the effort. They've been doing the prayers, affirmations, and visualizations. And they're trusting now. The Divine Feminine has learned to trust in the situation, and she's asking the Divine Masculine to trust in the situation as well. What the Divine Masculine wants to say to the Divine Feminine. Let go of control issues. Allow this situation to unfold naturally. New love, a new person has stirred your romantic feelings. Passion, allow your heart and soul to sing with joy. Love yourself first. Your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive. I feel like the Divine Masculine is saying to the feminine that they've let go. You've let go of your control issues now. You're surrendering to the situation. The new love that they're feeling. It's not a new love as in a new person. They're feeling a newness in the connection to their Divine Feminine. It's like the love is changing because it's a time of rebirth for them. So it's like the love is getting ignited on a deeper level. It's becoming stronger. And it's igniting their passion for the Divine Feminine as well. But then love yourself first. And I feel like the masculine is saying to the Divine Feminine, love yourself first, but they're also saying that to themselves. And it's a good message because it's them saying we have to come into this each in our wholeness. We each have to love ourselves first. Not in a selfish way, but in a non-codependent way. It's the healthiest way to set boundaries with each other. Otherwise, you can get very lost in each other, and that's not the point of the relationship. The point of the relationship between twin flames is to build strength. It's to come into your own wholeness. And part of this for the feminine is when the feminine, those that have shed the beliefs enough, like they know that they have to stand in their wholeness no matter what. So if the Divine Masculine challenges them, they have to choose themselves. If you're not honoring your wants and desires because you feel like the other person is not going to love you, then you still have obstacles to union. You have to respect your own wants and desires. Your own truth. Okay, where are unions heading over the next couple weeks? Selfhood. So The union energy is going into wholeness. Both the divine masculine and divine feminine, they're becoming more whole within themselves, which is what I was just talking about, because not only does the divine feminine have to do that, the divine masculine does as well. Only two wholes, two people that are totally complete, can come together and create a relationship that is not solely focused on the other person. You guys all know what I'm talking about. We talk about this all the time. This is another spot where two cards came out. So the other card was Anubis, God of Protection. This was also for where unions are headed. And I feel like this is confirmation of the rebirth of the masculine. It's the God of Protection, and it shows the masculine energy returning in a way that's protective of the feminine. Not in a way that the feminine is fragile, but in the way that I already talked about. When we have that strong inner masculine energy, we feel totally protected. And it's when we have that feeling of protection that we can be our authentic selves. So this is how the energy of the masculine is coming. It's again, there was something there on the tip of my tongue. Okay. It was also that the masculine, like I mentioned earlier, I feel they'll be dealing with some issues of not feeling like they have protected the feminine energy enough. Maybe they've been too hard on the feminine energy. That's another piece here. But that's changing as they get stronger. And from the romance angels, where union energies are going. Wedding and soulmate. So, spiritual marriage. Because the masculine and feminine are coming into balance now that the masculine energy is having its rebirth. Like I said, you can watch my video, The Rebirth of the Divine Masculine, if you haven't. And then I talk more about what the Divine Masculine is going to go through each step of the process. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Again, if you would like a personal reading, my website is twinstrology.com. Happy Yule. Happy holidays. Love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon.